It's time now for Truth or Fake, our daily fact-checking segment. I'm joined for that by Catalina Marchand-Abreu. Welcome to the programme, Catalina. Today we're looking at France accusing Russia of an online disinformation campaign. It's being called Doppelgänger. Tell us a bit more about it.
That's right, Tom. France has accused Russia on a Tuesday of a long-running online misinformation campaign to create confusion and disinformation about the war in Ukraine. The French agency responsible for fighting this digital interference is called Viginum. It said that it's monitored this operation since soon after the Russian invasion of Ukraine in the spring of 2022. They nicknamed this operation RRN after this pro-Russian website that, according to the French government, takes a central role in this misinformation campaign. It's ironically called Reliable Recent News, a website that consistently publishes pro-Russian news and narratives. And here, as you can read, they claim that the RN is a complex and persistent digital informational manipulation campaign where France is one of the several European countries that's been targeted. This campaign is structured around four different components that we will get into just quickly. Number one is the dissemination of pro-Russian content related to the war in Ukraine, to the usurpation of the identity of fake media websites in France. 3, the creation of French-speaking news websites to spread controversial content. And finally, the implementation of a combined method of inauthentic means such as fake websites or social media profiles in order to relay this fake content. Tom?
Okay, so let's look a bit more at these disinformation methods, starting with the impersonation of French media websites. Tell us more about that.
Indeed, here we have some examples of these French media websites that were usurped in order to spread false information about the war in Ukraine. The main media that were targeted: 20 Minutes, Le Monde, et Les Parisiens. Let's begin with this fake cover from Le Monde that was originally in French. We've translated it to you. The cover reads: French minister supports the murders of Russian soldiers in Ukraine. Evidently a very pro-Russian narrative that was fakely published in this fake cover of Le Monde. Then we have this fake cover of 20 Minutes that is very targeted all the time, where they claim that the massacre in Bucha was staged, a pro-Russian narrative that we've debunked many times before in this segment. The massacre in Bucha is very much real. Then this narrative was published throughout every channel possible of this Russian misinformation web. We also have examples in English media. This example from The Guardian, where once again they report, or RN again, where they report on the staging of the alleged staging of Bucha, allegedly revealed. Then we have this fake cover from Les Parisiens, where they claim a mass exodus to escape military slavery. Ukrainians are trying to escape imminent death on the front lines. So a Russian way to try to discredit the Ukrainian armed forces. And finally, the usurping is not limited to media websites only. Notably and recently, the website of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs was imitated, where they allegedly published this fake security tax together with this document, where they published this governmental document, introduction of a new security tax, where the French would be taxed an additional 1.5% in order to guarantee Ukraine's security during the war in Ukraine, an official document that was allegedly signed by the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs, Catherine Colonna. So a clear attempt to stir up French anti-Ukrainian sentiment. Tom?
Okay, so if people want to know how to spot a fake media website, what should they be looking out for?
Well, the imitations of these French media websites are uncanny, are absolutely identical to the bare eye. Here we have an example of the fake Le Monde website or article, and here we have an example of a real one that was published just yesterday on this Doppelgänger case. Together, if we put them together, you could see that they're very similar. But let's take a closer look at the URLs. That's where we could spot the difference, the anomaly in these articles. First of all, the real report by Le Monde, the URL is lemonde.fr. Then if we compare it to the fake URL from Le Monde, from these fake Russian websites, the URL states lemonde.ltd, and on the side you could already have this warning sign that says dangerous. So we spotted the same anomaly for the fake Les Parisiennes articles. Here we have a real one also on this Doppelgänger case, and here we have the fake one that we showed earlier. Once again, you could see that the URL for the real one is lesparisiens.fr, while for the fake one is lesparisiens.ltd. So always look out for the URL, look out for LTD versus .fr. Tom.
Okay, so it's up there at the in the bar at the top of the page, and of course there are fake social media accounts as well, aren't there? And they play a big part in the Russian disinformation campaign. Tell us a bit more about those.
Indeed, let's just call these fake media pages soldiers used in this Russian disinformation campaign. These are fake media, social media profiles that most likely publish these fake news articles that we just showed. Here are some examples out of the 703 pages that Facebook identified as belonging to this massive Russian misinformation network. Here, for instance, we have many fake German news pages that share, here it's a bit blurry, but they share, many of them share anti-Ukraine cartoons, pro-Russian news, anti-Western news. For example, this one that says, France kills civilians, shame. So how do we know if they're fake? We also have this other example, these accounts that also Facebook identified as fake and belonging to this Russian web of misinformation. These profiles were created using AI or even stolen profiles. So how do we know? Most of them were created in the summer or spring of 2022, soon after the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Tom.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed.